Yo! Hope you like that thumbnail. Moral of the story, don't take life so seriously. Anyway guys, it's good to be back. I know it's been a few days since I've done a video on here, and I'm going to tell you about what I've done the past few days, and then we will get to the news. So on Sunday, I had my webinar, my holistic health webinar, and it was awesome. And it was super fun. I went like 45 minutes over, and it was so much fun, in fact, that I'll be doing another webinar in just a few weeks. I'll go ahead and announce that later this week, maybe this weekend. So if you guys want to catch me on another one, you can do that in a couple weeks. And thank you all who signed up for the last one. You'll be getting your video copy of it later today. Then on Monday, I head down to Portland, actually. I went down to Portland on Monday and Tuesday, and I holed myself up in a room with a buddy of mine, and we got to work on a very big project. And that project I will announce to you actually right here on my YouTube channel next Friday, November 3rd. So that'll be a big announcement and something I'm extremely excited for, and I'll tell you guys about that at the end of next week. So that's where I've been at the past few days. And yesterday I just basically needed a break. But now I'm back at it. So let's talk, put you guys over here, and the camera there. Let's talk about the news of the day. So October 26th, today we obviously have the JFK files that are going to be released. And question is, how much are they going to say? How much will they be redacted and whatnot? We know quite a bit about the JFK assassination, or we can gather what happened. Like I said in my last video, there's many reasons. His fight against the military-industrial complex, his outspokenness against them, his efforts to put us back on some kind of gold or silver standard, and of course his delving into the UFO files and wanting to disclose what had been kept in the Black Project. So we'll see what they say, but again, it's just going to fuel a lot more questioning in people's minds, so there's nothing wrong with that. Next story I want to discuss is a lot of that sex abuse coming out in the Hollywood and the mainstream media. So all kinds of different things, different data points I've seen online the past few days about that. Paul Harris, which is apparently he's a big-time Hollywood producer, he came out and he was stating that Hollywood is a pretty weird place. So people are speaking out. We had NBC fire one of their producers, or fire somebody who worked for them, Mark Halperin, for sex assault allegations. The documentary, I'll link this one down below in the description after this video. The documentary, An Open Secret, which is a great documentary exposing the abuse and especially the pedophilia component of Hollywood, is now online for free. The producer put this online after everything that's been blowing up lately, so great thing there. And then, huge story that I definitely want to tell you guys about is Corey Feldman. So he came out a couple years ago with his abuse stories and started blowing the whistle. Recently, of course, he was arrested for what authorities say was a DUI charge. I think he was being specifically harassed. And then, apparently, there was a threat on his life. And he released a video about it. Released another video of Hollywood child sex trafficking rings just days after his arrest. And apparently there may have been a threat on his life. So check that out. Again, I'll post links to all this stuff I'm talking about down below. Can't do my fancy iMovie editing in these live vids. And then a couple stories that I saw circulating. These ones on mainstream media, on like Business Insider and a couple other websites, was allegations about George Bush and Al Gore. I saw groping and something with Al Gore and a couple massage therapists or something like that. But this brings to me to a very crucial point that I want to make right here before we move on. A lot of these allegations that we're seeing blow up in the mainstream media, I don't want to call them light allegations, but they're in the context of what's going on in the elite circles, they are. We're just seeing groping and touching allegations and a little bit of sexual assault, some things like that. I don't want to have a connotation of that like it's good in any way, but the reality is that we're dealing with much darker demons in Hollywood, the media, and in government, and in, you know, what these elite circles do. We're talking about child sex trafficking, human trafficking, and things of this sort, right? So what I'm seeing going on is they're putting all of these light abuse allegations out into the mainstream to try and cover up for the deeper disclosures, the nastier stuff that people kind of want to avoid, but the stuff that needs to come out. Okay, it needs to come out if we're going to get rid of it. So just keep that in mind, that everything you're seeing in the mainstream is the top of you get what I'm saying. Anyway, Las Vegas, let's talk about that for a minute. So there's just a couple points that continue to expose this as being a completely botched operation. Apparently the shooter's brother was arrested for child pornography charges in Hollywood, of all places, so that's weird. And then the shooter himself, Stephen Paddock, if he is the shooter, you know, I've seen great evidence and great speculations as to him just being a false identity or a patsy that they threw under the bus there. But anyway, apparently the shooter's hard drive was missing. I saw this story on ABC. They said the Las Vegas shooter's laptop was missing its hard drive when they found it in the hotel room. So, again, I mean, there are so many stories being put out that, and even in the mainstream, that this is just stories that make you question the alternative narrative, but on the other hand, it's as if they're putting so many rabbit holes just out in your face to distract you. We obviously know it's a false flag. We obviously know it was some kind of operation that isn't what the official narrative says it is. So, boom, done. We're good to go right there. Now we can move on with deducing other things and finding other things out in our lives. So one thing you got to understand is they may or may not be actually putting a lot of these things out to distract you even more, because they know that so many people get it. So, okay, they can't quite cover up the mainstream narrative, so let's just give them all these rabbit holes to distract them with, right? Perfect. So understand that. Las Vegas, false flag. Next. FBI informant to testify. So with that whole UraniumOne thing that's, exploding, the investigations that are backfiring on the Democrats and Hillary Clinton and all them. So an FBI informant is now being allowed to testify to Congress about the UraniumOne deal. So what I'm seeing here is that this is the legal proceeding that will begin to take down the first components of the deep state, primarily the Democrats, because of the nature of this, the UraniumOne deal. But what's going on is our consciousness being seeded for Pedogate disclosures right here in the media. Just like I was saying, the light stuff being exposed. So we're being mentally prepared to accept Pedogate, but these are the first things that are going to take them down. And then the rest of the stuff, I think, will be able to seep out to a much more prepared, mentally prepared population. And we'll see some fun stuff start to happen. And of course, it's not just the Democrats that will get taken down, but the Republicans too. This is why we're seeing John McCain articles on CNN and NBC News being happy to report George Bush stuff. So it's not don't get caught up in that duality. Also, this is a huge one I do want to make note of, is that there has been a fire burning at a warehouse in Parkersburg, West Virginia for the past 3 or 4 days. And look at these pictures. I'm just going to show you... Actually, I'm not going to show you my computer. It's probably not a smart thing to do. But I will post a link below to this. There's a fire that's been burning at a DuPont factory in West Virginia for the past about 4 days. And here's a bunch of products that happen to be stored at this factory. PVC, nylon, titanium dioxide, fiberglass. And get this, the smoke from it, you can see the smoke cloud is 40 miles away. So there's a lot of nasty shit being up in the air. Who knows if DuPont may have just burned this factory because they didn't want to have to pay to dispose all this shit. But keep in mind, if you're around the area, be warned. And you can check the Imgur post below if you want to know more. And lastly, covert secret space program disclosures. So this is on Dr. Michael Sala's website, exopolitics.org. He is linked up with a guy he calls by the pseudonym JP. Who knows if JP will come out more public and later or not, but apparently JP has been beckoned to take a lot of pictures of very peculiar craft, primarily triangular craft, some square and rectangle shaped craft or weapons platforms or whatever the case is, but I'll link the articles where you can take a look at the pictures of it down below on Dr. Michael Sala's website. So that's basically what I wanted to share with you guys today. JFK files, lots of stuff prepping our minds. I'm talking to all kinds of people who are getting it. But of course, there's layers. There's a lot of layers to how many we're going to have to get. And a lot of people are at the beginning stages. Understand that when you're discussing things with them, don't get downtrodden, don't get disappointed when you realize that they're on a different path. But there's a lot we have to do. So anyway, yeah, someone said the veil is going bye-bye. Exactly. But I'm going to go for this one. So there's just a bunch of things going on. Links will be down below. Go ahead and follow me on Twitter and Facebook where you'll get those announcements that I was discussing. First thing, sign up for my newsletter on my website. You can do so now. And also, I made a little Facebook group that Destroying the Illusion Facebook group. So if you want to go see what that's like, I'll post a link for that down below. Have a great day, guys. Done.